Hello and welcome back to this channel. Yes, I am back. I'm here to review The Crimes of Grindewald, the new Fantastic Beasts movie. And today is very special because it happens to be my birthday. Fun fact is the first Harry Potter film actually opened on my birthday, November 16th, and now this new Fantastic Beasts movie is opening on November 16th as well, which I just found like a cool little tidbit because I love Harry Potter. It is such a huge portion of my childhood, and that's why I was really looking forward to this movie, and I'm going to do my best to deliver to you guys a really good review for this film. So this was one of my more anticipated movies of 2018. I really did enjoy the first Fantastic Beasts film. It wasn't necessarily perfect, but I did enjoy how it built upon J.K. Rowling's world and how it didn't really necessarily mess with the lore of Harry Potter too much. It just added something extra and it made me excited to see what the next installment would bring. And unfortunately, after seeing this movie, I am a little uncertain of how the next three are gonna go, but we will dive into that a little bit later on. If you are just now clicking on this video and you have no idea what my channel is about, I love movies. I like to try and review at least one movie per week. Don't hold me on that, but that's my goal. And I also like to do movie unboxings, collectible unboxings, Funko Pop hauls. If any of that sounds interesting to you, please hit that subscribe button and also give me a thumbs up if you really love me, and comment on this video because I love to interact. I'd love to know your thoughts about this film. I just want to get myself out there and possibly grow this channel even more, so please do that for me. With all that out of the way, let's get started with this review. Let's start with just a little synopsis of this film, and I'm actually going to read it off of my computer because it's really hard for me to put into words a good synopsis for this film because there's just so many plot lines going on, so let's get into it. The movie picks up soon after the ending of the first, where we see Grindewald held captive in the American Ministry of Magic, and he inevitably escapes. In an effort to thwart Grindewald's plans of raising pure-blood wizards to rule over all non-magical beings, Albus Dumbledore enlists his former student Newt Scamander, who agrees to help, unaware of the dangers that lie ahead. Lines are drawn as love and loyalty are tested, even among the truest friends and family in an increasingly divided world. Yeah, I'm really glad that the synopsis was online because, like I said, this movie has so much going on that it's just hard for me to really put it into a just little brief paragraph to explain it to everyone, especially without spoiling anything. And by the way, this is going to be a spoiler-free review, so you don't have to worry about me divulging anything you don't want to know. I'm just going to talk about basic plot ideas. I'm not going to reveal the secrets, as the hashtag now says. I got this pin at the fan event. But yes, spoiler-free, this review shall be. Let's start with the good for this film. I'll just save the negatives for the last half and just get the good out of the way, what I took from it, what I really enjoyed. One of the best aspects, I think, of this movie and the first film is that it continues the world building that J.K. Rowling has created with the Wizarding World in the Harry Potter series. I think in this one you get to see, more of the outside world, outside of America, outside of England. We get to go over into France. You get to see the French Ministry of Magic. You get to see a French Diagon Alley, which was really cool. Again, all the details and that kind of thing were really excellent about this movie, and it's definitely the most enjoyable aspect to watch. There's also some really enjoyable sequences, especially there's the opening, which shows Grindelwald's escape, which was just amazingly shot. It was really well done, top-notch special effects, and just really fun to watch, and it really brings you into Grindelwald's character and captures you with that. And then also we have the beasts here that are on display. There's tons of new ones. There's a Chinese magical dragon creature that was really fun. There's the Madigo, which are these like little cat-like creatures that protect the French Ministry of Magic. There's a fun sequence with that. There's a Kelpie, which is almost like a horse wrapped in seaweed that we see Newt Scamander riding through the water. Just the creatures, it's like top-notch design. I really love the art direction of this film. Those sequences in particular are really fun to watch. We also get some really enjoyable performances here. Johnny Depp actually blew me away with this. I know some people don't really like him. I'm not like too into Johnny Depp. I think he's kind of like same old with every role. But I think with here, he actually captured me as a decent villain for this prequel franchise. He plays it more like a subdued kind of cult leader that's kind of charismatic and can bring people over to his side. And that was really interesting to watch. And again, Eddie Redmayne as Newt Scamander, I think he's fantastic. I really enjoy his little awkward mannerisms and his, he rests on his morals and he does things out of the goodness of his heart. He cares for his creatures, which I feel like is a metaphor for that he stands up for, the voiceless, the disenfranchised. It was, it's fun to see him on screen, although I can agree with some of the complaints that he's kind of a weaker protagonist, that he doesn't do much, but I mean, it's just still enjoyable for me. I think that he's just a different type of protagonist, but I can get to where he's not like someone's cup of tea. There's also this really good dynamic where they bring in his brother in this one, who I also really enjoyed because he works at the ministry. He's like the complete opposite of Newt, and I feel like their back and forth fleshes out his character more this go around, and that's why I really appreciated Newt more in this one than I did in the first one. We also get an amazing performance from Jude Law in this film, which I wasn't that sure about him to be young Dumbledore, but as soon as I watched it, I realized that it was actually perfect casting. He has these just little nuances that he adds to his personality that really remind me of the older Dumbledore, so I think that he was perfect casting in this role. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of him in the movie, which is one of my negatives, because I feel like he was one of the more interesting characters to watch and watch him interact with the other characters. Also, I think with this and with the first one, I think that David Yates does an excellent job of directing this movie. He's now directed like every single Harry Potter movie since Order of the Phoenix, so this guy has devoted so much of his life to this franchise, and I mean, it's no different here that he knows this world as well as J.K. Rowling and that he can make it feel lived in. The cinematography is excellent, the special effects are excellent, the art direction is really top-notch, the costume design is amazing. I mean, I want to like dress up in cosplay for all that. I actually have a Newt Scamander costume that I wore to the premiere of it, so it just continues to be displayed here, though, that they really have a grasp on this world, and that's definitely, not a loss here. The movie looks fantastic, everything about it, the creatures, the set design, the costumes, like I said, but it's so weird because I love all those aspects about this movie, but the really negative aspect that I have about it is the story. So if I had to start with my negatives about this movie, I would say that just like how other critics are saying, this movie is overstuffed. I just have to agree with it. There is just so much going on. There are so many characters that are just fighting for relevancy to get their own plot line. The movie, I feel like the editing of this movie really needed to be fine-tuned because it just jumps from place to place and it just leaves you feeling very confused sometimes about what is going on, about why certain things are relevant. And it's definitely deeply involved in Harry Potter lore to where I feel like a general audience member would definitely probably hate this movie, and I couldn't blame them. I mean, if you're not a hardcore Harry Potter fan and you don't know, you're not very well versed in this mythology, I don't foresee you really enjoying this movie. So if you haven't seen the first Fantastic Beasts film, if you haven't hardly watched all the Harry Potter movies, you should really definitely skip this movie, like, for sure. And it's not that I think that this movie is lazily written. It's full of imagination. It's definitely there. It's just, I think that and I know I might get a lot of hate for this, I feel like J.K. Rowling should still be involved in the story, but they should definitely hire on another writer that's well-versed in movies so that they know how to fine-tune what she wants to bring to the screen. Because I just feel like she's so used to writing novels that are like, 800 pages long, and she can have all these scenes of exposition and it just does not work here on movie. It can leave audiences feeling bored, or it can leave them just totally clueless and out of the loop with how confused they are about all the different story elements that are going on. Because even me, as like a huge Harry Potter fan, I just felt very confused in some parts of this, but especially when they were doing some reveals and stuff, and I was trying to, in my head, like connect it with what I know about the Harry Potter universe, and also still trying to listen to the story that's being told or something that's being revealed to me, and it still just made me go like, but that doesn't make any sense at all. And it's a really unfortunate thing, because by the time you get all the reveals in this movie, you're just left like scratching your head as to how they're going to possibly keep going with this, how they're going to explain certain things, how certain plot lines are even going to be relevant in the next one. It's just really abrasive in the way that it was told. Really, the most interesting aspects of this movie happen at the beginning and the end, and everything that's in the middle was just like kind of like a chore to get through, and sometimes it was really kind of boring because it was just a lot of dialogue, a lot of plot, and just a lot of meandering around and jumping from place to place. That it's just, I can't foresee that a general audience member would even really get into this movie. And also, there's just so many characters, and some of the new ones, it's like they're trying to be important, but you just don't know why they're supposed to be important, and the whole entire time you're just left confused as to why you're supposed to care about this certain character. And just, it's like each one is fighting for their own relevancy in the story. And there's also some characters that came back that I absolutely hated how they did their character. I just did not foresee that being the continuation of the character, especially with Queenie, when you see what happens to her towards the end, and then just at the beginning, how they get involved in this story just seems so convenient and just really forced, especially with Kowalski, who's, like Queenie's little lover boy, and he lost his memories in the first one, and the way they explain how he just suddenly got his memories back is just kind of like really contrived, and it doesn't make sense to me. They didn't really necessarily need to be in this movie. There's just what you're just left with is there's so many characters that could have been cut out of this movie, that they could have just focused on the really good aspects that they had going for them, and instead they're just really focusing on people that you just really don't even care about, or that just have terrible storylines, and that's really unfortunate. There's just some plot threads here that really just feel like this particular prequel franchise just doesn't know where it's going. Like, it's just kind of making itself up as it goes along, and that's really unfortunate because I know it comes from J.K. Rowling, but I feel like someone needs to step in to kind of fine-tune her ideas to make a better movie. Like, even the first movie, I thought it was really, whimsical, quirky, and it interests me as a fan. I don't know, some other people could possibly be bored with it, because I think that this particular prequel franchise is just really geared toward the hardcore fans, the adult fans that grew up with Harry Potter. It's just really not, to me, there's a lot of dark stuff in this movie. It's not really like for kids, and I feel like the plot is just like too complex for a child to understand. So this is definitely not like a kid's film. I think this is just really geared towards the more adult fans. And let me just say again, no spoilers, that there is a really huge reveal here at the end of this movie that I feel like it wants you to care about more than what you actually probably are going to care about. I think some fans are going to look at this reveal and they're going to be, either put off by it, or they're going to just be open-minded about it, okay about it, and just want to see a little bit more to get that explained to them. because this movie is now, this franchise is starting to kind of, delve deep into the Harry Potter lore, and is starting to mess with things that we loved about the original Harry Potter series. And it really kind of changes the way you look, especially at like the Deathly Hallows book. And that to me, I don't know, it's really hard. It's kind of starting to mess with things that you love, and that's just a little unfortunate, but I am still interested enough to see where this franchise goes and where it heads from here. But I definitely think if you're not a Harry Potter fan, that when this twist gets revealed, you're just gonna be like, so what? Like, it doesn't matter. But if you are big into Harry Potter, it's just like, you're gonna be either like, I can't stand this, I hate it, or like, how is that even possible? Like, I feel like that's the only two reactions you could have as a Harry Potter fan. But, I feel like this series is a lot kind of like how The Hobbit was to The Lord of the Rings. It's just like, it's got a level that adds a little bit more to the series, but it's not like necessarily necessary. I mean, it's not like we need 5 films. There are 5 planned movies for this, so we are 2 down, 3 more to go, and it just, by the end, it feels like they might be kind of just stretching it like really thin when you realize where they want the series to go. And I'm just kind of confused about how they're going to do 5 movies, or if like the 5 movies are even going to be interesting enough to keep me wanting to go through all 5 movies. And of course, I'm going to watch them because I'm a big Harry Potter fan, but I could definitely see where people, after watching this one, are probably going to be completely tuned out, and I'm worried that maybe the next 3 won't do as good. It's really unfortunate. I think that, Harry Potter is just such a beloved series, and I feel like this like background to it is kind of like secondary. Like, you don't really necessarily need it, and it's so delved into like Harry Potter lore and deep diving into the series that it's just leaving out a whole chunk of audience that is probably just not going to care about it, to be honest. I mean, with all that being said, I would watch this movie again. In fact, I have plans to go see it with my friend for my birthday tomorrow. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to watch it again. I think for me as a fan, I need to watch it again to see if there's like certain things I'm going to pick up on, or to put plot lines together more, because there's just so much going on. But yeah, unfortunately, I am a little disappointed with how they decided to continue this story, because I feel like it's just really tedious to get through. It has just some terrible misdirection for certain characters, and it just does not have enough meat on the bone to warrant like this title, The Crimes of Grindewald. It just feels like, the beginning and the end are pretty good, but then everything in the middle was just kind of meh. I mean, honestly, if I was going to give this movie a rating, I would probably give it a 3 out of 5 stars. That's just at least my initial thoughts for this film. I'm going to see it again. I will possibly do a spoiler-filled review. Don't completely hold me to that, but I think after I watch it again, I might want to discuss more about this movie. But yeah, for now, in my head, this is basically a 3 out of 5 stars. Really unfortunate, because I was really looking forward to this movie, but what can you do? Anyways, you guys, that is all for this video review. I hope you enjoyed it. And remember, if you do like this video, if you do like movies, if you like movie reviews, please subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up if you love me. And also comment about what your thoughts were about this movie if you see it this weekend. I'd love to know. That's what movies are for. They're here for us to discuss and to have varying opinions about things. And I think especially this will have a lot of opinions, because there's a lot of fans of the source material that these movies come from, or that they're building off of, I should say. So yes, I love you all. Stay fabulous. Bye.